At what age do you think you'll stop working? Not when you want to retire, when you'll actually be able to retire, when you'll have enough money to stop trading your time for a paycheck and still maintain a basic standard of living. If you're in your 20s or 30s right now, there's a good chance the honest answer is never, and the uncomfortable part is you probably don't realize it yet. You went to college, you got a degree, you're working a professional job, you're doing everything society said would lead to a comfortable retirement, and statistically, there's a very real possibility you'll still be working in your 70s, not because you love your job, because you'll have to. This isn't a prediction, it's already happening. The percentage of Americans over 65 still working has doubled in the last 30 years, and it's not going back down. Today, I want to show you why retirement, the way previous generations understood it, is quietly becoming unrealistic for most people. Not because of a recession, not because of bad luck, because of math that most people never run until it's too late. Let me introduce you to Lauren. She's 31 years old, she lives in Minneapolis. She has a bachelor's degree in communications and works as a marketing coordinator for a healthcare company. She makes $63,000 a year. Lauren is doing fine. She's not rich, but she's employed, educated, and stable. By most measures, she's on track for a normal middle-class life. Here's what her financial reality looks like. After taxes, she takes home about $3,900 a month. Her rent for a one-bedroom apartment is $1,450. Her car payment is $365 for a used Subaru she bought 2 years ago. Insurance is $135. Her student loan payment is $340 a month. She still owes $32,000 on loans that started at $45,000. That's $2,290 in fixed commitments before groceries. Add in food at $400, utilities at $120, phone at $75, internet at $65, health insurance premiums at $160, gas at $140, and basic subscriptions at $40. We're now at $3,290. She has $610 left for everything else: clothes, social life, gifts, emergencies, and theoretically, retirement savings. Lauren contributes 3% to her 401k because that's what her company matches. That's $157 a month going into retirement. Her employer adds another $157, so $314 total per month is going toward her future. She's been doing this for 7 years, since graduating at 24. Her 401k balance is about $31,000. On paper, Lauren is doing everything right. She has a degree, she has a stable job, she's contributing to retirement, she's not living extravagantly, and she is nowhere close to being on track to retire. Let's do the calculation Lauren hasn't done yet. Financial advisors generally say you need about 80% of your pre-retirement income to maintain your lifestyle in retirement. Lauren makes $63,000 now. Let's assume by the time she's 65, with raises and inflation, that's equivalent to about $50,000 in today's dollars to maintain the same lifestyle. To generate $50,000 a year from retirement savings using the standard 4% withdrawal rule, you need $1.25 million saved. Lauren currently has $31,000 at age 31. She's contributing $314 a month. If she continues exactly this way until she's 65, with a 7% average return, she'll have about $520,000. That's less than half of what she needs, and that's assuming everything goes perfectly. No career gaps, no periods of unemployment, no emergencies that force her to stop contributing or withdraw early, no market crashes right before retirement. With $520,000, using the 4% rule, Lauren can withdraw about $20,800 a year. Social Security might add another $18,000 if the system remains unchanged, which is uncertain. That's $38,800 total. She'll be living on about 60% of what she needs to maintain her current modest lifestyle, and that's the optimistic scenario. Here's what that actually looks like. Lauren, at 70 years old, working part-time as a cashier or a greeter because her retirement savings ran out. Not because she made bad investments, not because she was reckless, because the math never added up in the first place. So why is Lauren, who did everything right, not on track to retire? The answer is that the retirement system we have now was designed for an economy that no longer exists. The 401k was introduced in 1978 as a supplement to pensions, not a replacement. But over the next 30 years, companies systematically eliminated pensions and shifted retirement responsibility entirely to individuals. In 1980, 38% of private sector workers had a pension. Today, it's 12%. Your parents' generation could work for one company for 30 years and retire with a guaranteed income for life. You're expected to manage your own retirement with whatever you can save from your paycheck. But here's the problem. Most people can't save enough. The median 401k balance for people in their 60s is $112,000. That's not a typo. The median is $112,000. Half of people approaching retirement have less than that. Why? Because saving 3% of your income, even with an employer match, is nowhere near enough. You'd need to be saving 15 to 20% of your gross income from age 25 to have a realistic shot at a comfortable retirement. But when you're bringing home $3,900 and spending $3,290 on necessities, where is that extra 12% supposed to come from? The system assumes you have disposable income to invest, but for most people, after housing, transportation, food, healthcare, and debt payments, there isn't much disposable income left. Lauren is contributing what she can. It's just not enough. And millions of people are in the exact same situation, slowly realizing that retirement might not be an option.
So why doesn't Lauren see this coming? There's a cognitive bias called temporal discounting. Our brains heavily discount future consequences in favor of present comfort. Retirement at 65 feels abstractly far away when you're 31. The immediate need to pay rent and eat feels much more real. So Lauren contributes her 3%, feels like she's doing the responsible thing, and doesn't run the actual numbers. And running the numbers feels scary, so she avoids it. There's also something called normalcy bias. We assume that what's happening around us is normal and will continue. Lauren sees her parents retired. She assumes she'll retire too. She doesn't realize the economic structure has fundamentally changed between their generation and hers. Her parents had pensions. She has a 401k with a 3% match. Her parents bought a house for 2.5 times their income. She'd be buying at 6 times her income. Her parents had employer-paid health care. She pays $160 a month in premiums plus deductibles. These aren't small differences. They're structural shifts that completely change the math of retirement. But because the shift happened gradually over decades, it doesn't feel like a crisis. It just feels like life is a little harder than expected. And here's the other factor. No one wants to be the person who says, "I'll probably never retire." It feels defeatist. It feels like failure. So people don't talk about it. They keep contributing their 3%, hoping it will somehow work out, never actually running the numbers to see if it will. Let's project what happens if Lauren continues this path and reaches 65 with $520,000 saved. She stops working because she physically can't anymore. Her savings generate $20,800 a year. Social Security adds $18,000. She's living on $38,800 annually. Her rent, if she's still renting, is probably $2,200 a month at that point, even for a modest apartment. That's $26,400 a year, leaving her with $12,400 for everything else: food, utilities, healthcare, transportation. She can't afford that. So what actually happens is she doesn't fully retire. She keeps working part-time, or she moves in with family, or she drastically downsizes to a cheaper area, or she burns through her savings faster than planned and ends up dependent on Social Security alone, which is $1,500 a month. This isn't a comfortable retirement. This is financial survival in old age. And the truly difficult part is there's no moment where this becomes obvious. It happens slowly. She's 45 and thinks she has time. She's 55 and realizes she's behind but doesn't know how to catch up. She's 65 and it's too late to fix. Act 6, the alternate reality. So what do people who will actually retire comfortably do differently? They understand that 3% contributions aren't enough. They find a way to save 15 to 20% of their income, even if it means living significantly below their means in their 20s and 30s. They recognize that every year you delay serious saving costs you massively because of compound interest. Starting at 25 versus starting at 35 can mean a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars by 65, even with the same monthly contribution. They also think about income differently. They don't just rely on a salary and hope to save the difference. They find ways to increase income or create income streams that aren't dependent on their time. Side businesses, rental income, investments that generate cash flow. And critically, they run the numbers early. They know what they'll need at 65. They know what they're on track for. And if there's a gap, they adjust now, not later. The people who will actually retire comfortably aren't necessarily smarter or luckier. They just saw the math clearly and made different choices because of it. Here's the reality. Most people with college degrees are not on track to retire in the traditional sense, not because they're failing, because the structure changed and the expectations didn't. You were told that a degree, a job, and a 401k would be enough. For most people, it won't be. If you're under 40 right now, you need to run your own numbers. Calculate what you'll need. Calculate what you're on track for, and if there's a gap, which there probably is, you need to make different choices now. Not easy choices, not comfortable choices, but choices that actually lead to a future where work is optional. Because the alternative is working into your 70s not because you want to, but because you have to. If this changed how you think about your own retirement, consider subscribing. I break down these realities every day, clearly, calmly, no hype. Just the math that most people avoid until it's too late. Thanks for watching.